There's a moment right before intimacy begins when everything is silent, but a man's mind is loud. He's not just looking at your body, he's scanning for something far deeper. And whether you realize it or not, he's already made some decisions, ones that can shape your entire relationship. This isn't about seduction, it's about truth. When you're first intimate with a man, there are things he notices instantly, not just about how you look, but about who you are. Today, we're unpacking the 5 powerful things a man sees the very first time you get close, and why they matter more than you think. Listen closely. This might change everything. When a man is first intimate with you, one of the very first things he picks up on, often before a single word is spoken or any clothes are removed, is your confidence. Not the surface level kind, not the loud, exaggerated, or performative type, but the real, grounded, internal confidence that radiates from a woman who knows who she is, what she wants, and what she will or will not tolerate. Confidence is not about being flawless. It's not about having the perfect body or knowing exactly what to do. In fact, it has very little to do with appearance at all. It's about presence, about a woman being at peace in her own skin, even when she's vulnerable, even when things are uncertain, even when she doesn't have all the answers. When a man sees that in you, it shifts something in the way he views you, not just sexually, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. He notices whether you shrink or stand firm, whether your eyes meet his with clarity or drift away in self-doubt. The way you carry yourself, the way you breathe, the way you touch without apology, these all communicate something far more powerful than words. A woman who walks into an intimate moment with the quiet strength of self-respect, who doesn't beg for approval with her body but offers herself with sovereignty, instantly becomes unforgettable. She's not trying to earn his attention. She already knows she's worthy of it. Men are incredibly perceptive in these moments, not always consciously, but instinctively. They sense when a woman is rooted in herself and when she's not. They notice when you're hiding, when you're trying to be someone you're not, when you're anxious about how you look instead of focused on how you feel. And believe it or not, they also notice when you're genuinely okay with yourself, when you've made peace with your imperfections and show up without needing to be validated. That kind of confidence, authentic, unshaken, deeply feminine, is magnetic. It's not always loud. It doesn't demand attention. Sometimes it's in the silence between breaths, in the calm way you respond, in the way you take your time instead of rushing to please. It's in the comfort you have with your own body, not because it fits a mold, but because you've chosen to honor it, to appreciate it, to live inside it without shame. And it's in the way you don't apologize for your stand. A confident woman doesn't lower herself just to be accepted. She understands that real intimacy is not about being chosen, it's about choosing each other, equally with mutual respect. Confidence is also about emotional responsibility. A woman who is emotionally grounded doesn't rely on a man's response to define her worth. She doesn't spiral into insecurity because of one glance, one hesitation, one awkward pause. She doesn't catastrophize or make assumptions. Instead, she breathes through the discomfort, holds space for herself, and gives space to the moment to unfold naturally. That presence, that emotional stability speaks volumes. It tells the man that he's not stepping into a storm of self-doubt or walking on eggshells. It tells him he can relax, be real, and connect, because she's already done that with herself. When a man encounters a woman like this, it challenges him in the best way. It elevates the entire experience, because now it's not just about desire, it's about admiration. It's not just about chemistry, it's about connection. A confident woman awakens something in a man that makes him want to rise to meet her, to show up with more presence himself, to be a better version of who he is. And that ripple effect, it can reshape the entire dynamic of the relationship from the very beginning. Confidence also shows up in your boundaries. It's in the way you say yes with enthusiasm or no with peace. It's in the clarity of your communication, the unapologetic way you express what you like, what you don't, what you need, and what you expect. And here's the truth. A man may not always like a woman's boundaries in the moment, but he will always respect them. especially when they are delivered with strength, not spite. A woman who has the courage to value herself even when it's inconvenient becomes the kind of woman who cannot be played, manipulated, or used. And that sets a tone. From the very first encounter, it creates a structure for the relationship to be built on trust instead of guessing games. Another powerful part of confidence is in how you treat yourself. A man notices whether you care for yourself, whether you speak about yourself with kindness, whether you carry shame or self-love. He notices whether you dress for your own joy or for someone else's validation. He notices whether you move with intention or hesitancy. Every little action communicates your relationship with yourself, and the deeper that relationship is, the more secure he feels entering yours. Finally, let's not forget this. Real confidence isn't static. It doesn't mean you never feel nervous or insecure. It means you meet those feelings with courage. You acknowledge them and still show up with heart. You allow yourself to be seen, flaws and all, and trust that it's enough. That kind of bravery is rare, and when a man sees it, when he feels it, he knows. He knows he's not just sharing a night with someone. He's encountering a woman who stands in her truth, who is not afraid of being seen, and who will not disappear when things get real. That's what confidence looks like. That's what stays with him. Long after the moment passes, long after the lights go out, long after the first time turns into something more. Presence is one of the most powerful yet underrated qualities a woman can bring into intimacy. It's not about doing something, it's about being fully there. And the first time a man shares that space with you, he can feel almost immediately whether you're truly present or simply going through the motions, whether you're there with your body but somewhere else in your mind. And here's what many women don't realize. Men are not just visual creatures. They're energetic ones. They may not always know how to explain it, but they feel it. They feel when a woman is with them, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And when you're fully present, it changes everything. There's a kind of electricity in presence. It doesn't come from loud passion or dramatic gestures. It comes from your stillness, your awareness, the way you breathe deeply instead of holding tension, the way you stay connected to what's happening, not racing to the next move or worrying about how you look, but grounded in the moment. Presence says, I am here with you. I am not afraid. I am not trying to impress. I am not trying to control. I am simply allowing this moment to be what it is. And that energy is magnetic. It disarms a man. It invites him to drop his performance too and just be real. On the flip side, when a woman is distracted, overthinking every movement, worrying about how her body looks, replaying old fears, comparing herself to others, or analyzing what he might be thinking, it creates an emotional distance. Even if everything looks perfect on the outside, he can feel that she's not truly with him, and that disconnection breaks the very intimacy she may be trying so hard to build. Because intimacy is not just about touch, it's about trust, it's about safety, it's about letting go of control. And none of that is possible if you're stuck in your head. The truth is, presence requires courage. It requires you to be vulnerable, to show up without a mask, to let go of how you think it should go and experience how it actually is. That might mean letting go of performance, letting go of perfection, letting go of the idea that you have to prove your worth. Because when you're present, you're not trying to be something, you're simply being. That kind of openness is rare. It's soft, but it's incredibly powerful. It creates an energy that a man doesn't just notice, he remembers. There is a subtle strength in a woman who is unapologetically present. She listens without rushing, she feels without flinching, she looks a man in the eye, not to challenge, but to connect. She doesn't fill the silence with nervous chatter, she lets it breathe. And that kind of woman, she becomes unforgettable because she offers something far more intimate than her body. She offers her essence. And that kind of depth, it's the difference between being desired and being deeply valued. Being present also means being aware of your own body, not in a self-conscious way, but in a sensory way. You feel your breath, you feel the texture of skin, you feel the rhythm of the moment. You're not trying to control it, you're simply flowing with it. That sensual awareness, the ability to receive, to notice, to be in tune, awakens something in a man. It invites him into something deeper than just pleasure. It invites him into real connection, into mutual experience, into a kind of emotional resonance that lingers. And presence doesn't just benefit him, it's a gift to you. Because when you're truly present, you experience more, you feel more, you remember more, you enjoy more, you catch the small things, the way he breathes when he's nervous, the softness in his eyes when he feels safe, the exact second when the energy shifts. You're not just giving yourself away, you're collecting moments that matter. You're taking ownership of your own experience, your own pleasure, your own truth. That level of awareness turns a simple moment into something sacred. There's also an emotional maturity in presence. A woman who is present is not hijacked by fear. She's not waiting for something to go wrong. She's not performing based on past wounds. She's not holding back because of what someone else did years ago. She's here. She's whole. She's open to whatever unfolds. And that kind of emotional intelligence is extremely attractive to a man who's emotionally awake, because it tells him, I don't need to fix you. I don't need to decode you. I don't need to walk on eggshells. I can just be here with you. And that simplicity is rare and beautiful. Presence is also deeply tied to trust. A woman can't truly be present with a man unless she trusts him, or at the very least trusts herself in his presence. So when you show up fully, it tells him, I feel safe enough to be here. And that level of trust is not only rare, it's sacred. It forms the foundation for emotional intimacy, for deeper conversation, for long-term connection. It transforms a fleeting moment into a meaningful memory. And men remember that, not just with their minds, but in their bodies and hearts. So if you want to be remembered, not just touched, but felt, learn to be present. Train yourself to slow down, to breathe, to let go of the need to perform, to stop worrying about how you're being perceived and start focusing on how you feel. Anchor yourself in the now. Because the truth is, a man may meet many women in his life, but the one he never forgets is the one who was truly with him, body, mind, and soul. And that kind of presence, that is where real intimacy begins. Vulnerability is not weakness. In fact, it's one of the deepest, most courageous forms of strength a woman can show, especially the first time she's intimate with a man. And make no mistake, he notices it immediately. Not because you say it, but because he feels it. Vulnerability is that invisible bridge between physical closeness and emotional connection. It's what turns a moment of pleasure into a moment of trust. And when a woman allows herself to be truly seen, not just with her body, but with her emotions, her fears, her truth, it creates an energy that can't be faked and can never be forgotten. You see, most people are guarded. We live in a world that teaches us to protect ourselves at all costs, to be in control, to never show our hand. And especially when it comes to relationships, many women have been hurt, betrayed, abandoned, so they build emotional armor. Not because they want to, but because they feel they have to. They enter intimacy with a man, but only let him close to a point. Past that point, everything is surface. Smiles, seduction, scripts, but no soul. And here's the secret. Men can feel that wall. They may not always have the words to explain it, but they know when a woman is holding something back. When her touch is there, but her heart is hidden. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine a woman who is brave enough to let her guard down, not recklessly, but intentionally. A woman who knows who she is and is no longer afraid to be fully seen. When she looks at a man during intimacy, she's not performing, she's present. When she speaks, it's not rehearsed or manipulative, it's raw and real. Maybe her voice trembles, maybe she admits she's nervous, maybe she lets her body be imperfect, her emotions be visible. That woman, she doesn't just create attraction, she creates impact. Because what she's really saying is, I trust you enough to let you see me. And that trust changes everything. Men are not always looking for perfection, but they are deeply moved by authenticity. When a woman allows herself to be vulnerable, to be real, to be emotionally exposed in the middle of an intimate moment, it tells him something profound. This is not a transaction. This is not about control. This is not about proving something. This is about connection. And whether he's ready for that or not, he feels the depth of it. He may not even know how to respond, but he won't forget it. Because in that moment, he wasn't just with a body, he was with a soul. Vulnerability can show up in a million little ways. It's the way you admit what you're feeling without apology, the way you allow yourself to be nervous or unsure without pretending to be someone you're not. It's in your willingness to receive affection, not just give it, to let yourself be held, not just touched. It's in the moments where your eyes fill with tears, not because you're weak, but because something real is moving through you. Those moments are sacred. They are rare, they are brave, and men, at least the ones worth your time, will see them for the gift they are. But here's the truth most people don't tell you. Vulnerability is risky. It opens you up. It makes you feel exposed. And yes, sometimes it means being hurt. But the alternative is far worse. The alternative is hiding, pretending, building connection on a mask instead of your truth. And no matter how beautiful the moment may look from the outside, if you're not being you, it will never fulfill you. Real intimacy is not safe. It's not sterile. It's not perfectly controlled. It's messy. It's emotional. It's full of unknowns. But that's where the magic is. That's where the real relationship begins. A woman who is vulnerable also gives a man permission to be vulnerable. That's the part that most people miss. Men are often trained to suppress their feelings, to be strong, stoic, untouchable. But when a woman opens her heart, she creates a space where a man can drop his armor too. He may not say it out loud, but something shifts in him. He sees that he doesn't need to perform either. He can be real, honest, human. And when two people meet at that level, everything changes. The connection deepens, the trust builds, the physical touch becomes infused with emotional presence. And that's when intimacy stops being just a moment and becomes a memory. There's also a spiritual beauty in vulnerability. It's not just about what happens between two people, it's about what happens within you. Every time you choose vulnerability, you grow, you heal, you reclaim a part of yourself that was once hidden, and whether or not the relationship lasts, you come out of it more whole, more awake, more alive, because you didn't just go through the motions. You showed up. You were real. You were you. And that is something no one can take from you. So if you want to be seen, not just touched, not just admired, but seen, be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to let him see the woman behind the beauty, the softness behind the strength, the story behind the smile. You don't have to overshare. You don't have to bleed on the floor, but you do have to let yourself be known. Because the women who are remembered, truly remembered, are the ones who had the courage to be fully themselves, even when it scared them, even when it felt like too much, even when they didn't know how it would be received. That's real power. That's real intimacy. And that is what changes not just a moment, but a man's life. Every person carries an energy into the room. It speaks before you speak and it lingers after you've left. And when it comes to intimacy, that energy is amplified. The first time you're with a man in that deeply personal space, he may not realize it consciously, but he feels the energy you bring. And that energy, your emotional state, your inner confidence or chaos, your peace or pain, sets the tone for everything that follows. It colors the atmosphere. It creates either safety or tension, warmth or confusion, openness or hesitation. And it's often this unspoken energy, not your appearance or technique, that leaves the deepest impression on a man. Energy doesn't lie. You can say all the right things. You can wear something beautiful, light the candles, smile the perfect smile. But if your energy is anxious, resentful, guarded, or disconnected, he will feel it in his body like static in the air. Just like animals sense danger before it happens, humans are intuitive too, especially when we're vulnerable. And intimacy is vulnerability, not just for you, but for him as well. In those moments, we drop our social masks. We let people closer than usual. And so the emotional atmosphere matters more than ever. So what does your energy say when you enter that moment with a man? Is it soft, grounded, warm? Or is it distracted, rushed, or fearful? Are you bringing the remnants of old wounds, past betrayals, comparisons, or insecurities? Or are you bringing curiosity, openness, and emotional presence? Are you connecting to him or just trying to manage how you're perceived? Because whether you're aware of it or not, your energy is communicating something. And that something can either build closeness or create a silent wall between you. Some women carry chaos, not because they want to, but because they haven't yet slowed down to process their own lives. They show up in the moment but bring a storm with them, overthinking everything, emotionally reacting to things that aren't even happening, holding their breath, waiting for disappointment. And sadly, many men have experienced this before. So when they feel it again, they brace themselves. They hold back, they disconnect. not because they don't care, but because they don't feel safe to engage with someone who hasn't made peace with herself. Other women bring calm. They might be nervous or unsure like anyone would be, but there's a centeredness in them, a kind of emotional steadiness. They aren't perfect, but they are aware. They've done the inner work. They've sat with their fears. They've cleaned out their emotional closet. They're not afraid of intimacy because they're not afraid of themselves. When a woman like that walks into a room, into a man's world, he feels something shift. He exhales. He softens. Because her energy says, you're safe to be real here. I'm not here to judge you, fix you, or control you. I'm here to experience this moment with you. That energy isn't just rare, it's transformative. What you carry into intimacy is not just about mood, it's about emotional legacy. If you've been hurt but never healed, you may unconsciously bring suspicion into the room. If you've been abandoned, you may bring a quiet desperation, hoping this man fills the void. If you've been rejected, you might bring a guardedness that blocks connection, even when you want it most. These are human things, they're not flaws, but they do shape your energy. And if you're unaware of them, they can sabotage even the most promising connection. But here's the good news. Your energy is not fixed. It's not some unchangeable trait you're born with. It's something you cultivate, clean, protect, and project. You can learn to walk into any space, especially intimate ones, carrying peace instead of panic, love instead of lack, strength instead of fear. And the way to do that is by doing the work before the moment. Sit with your story, know your wounds, heal what's heavy, forgive what's behind you. Speak kindly to yourself. Slow down. Learn to trust your own spirit. Because the more peace you create within yourself, the more peace you'll bring into the spaces you enter. Men deeply appreciate a woman whose energy is light, not because she's pretending everything's perfect, but because she's present. She's aware of herself. She's not blaming him for past pain. She's not rushing him to perform. She's not using intimacy as a test or a trap. She's simply there. Alive, grounded, open. That kind of woman draws him in not just physically but emotionally, because he knows he can be himself. He knows he doesn't have to fight through layers of tension or unspoken resentment. He feels invited, not evaluated. And it's not about being emotionally neutral either. You don't have to be zen all the time. You can be excited, passionate, playful, even nervous. That's all real. What matters is whether your energy is clean, meaning you're not making this moment carry the weight of your unresolved past. You're not demanding that this man complete you, fix you, or validate you. You're bringing you as you are now. And that kind of energy, it creates something real, something mutual, something worth building on. There's something extraordinary about a woman who has learned to harness her energy. She doesn't walk into intimacy hoping to be chosen. She walks in choosing herself first. And because of that, she gives from a full place, not an empty one. She listens deeply. She receives without fear. She speaks from her truth. And most of all, she lets the moment breathe instead of trying to force it into her expectation. That creates emotional safety. And safety is what allows men to open up, to be present, and to truly connect. So ask yourself, what energy do I bring into the room when I walk in? Is it energy that invites openness or demands performance? Is it energy that carries grace or baggage? Is it reactive or responsive? This isn't about being perfect, it's about being aware. Because once you become conscious of your energy, you become powerful. And when a woman enters a man's space, not just with her beauty, but with grounded, healing, vibrant energy, she becomes unforgettable. Not because of what she did, but because of who she was. The first time you're intimate with a man, everything is new. New energy, new emotions, new rhythms. And no matter how romantic or magnetic the chemistry may be, the truth is this: the first time is rarely perfect. There are awkward silences, mismatched movements, nervous laughter, or even sudden insecurity. It's human. It's real. But what truly defines the moment, what etches it into a man's memory, is not whether everything went flawlessly. It's how you respond when it doesn't. Your reaction to imperfection tells a man more about your emotional maturity, your character, and your relationship with yourself than almost anything else. He's not just watching how you move or what you say. He's sensing how you deal with the unpredictable. Do you get flustered? Do you freeze up? Do you make it about yourself and spiral into self-doubt? Or do you breathe, laugh it off, stay present, and keep going with grace? In these fragile moments, your ability to meet imperfection with ease becomes deeply magnetic. Why? Because it tells him that you're safe, not just physically, but emotionally. You're not going to crumble if something goes wrong. You're not going to turn cold, critical, or withdrawn. And that creates a powerful ripple. It gives him permission to stop performing too, to stop worrying about impressing you, to stop chasing some idea of perfection. It invites him into something far more real, a shared experience grounded in acceptance, not performance. Most people walk around carrying emotional armor. They try so hard to do everything right, to say the right thing, look the right way, respond the right way, especially during intimacy. But intimacy, by its very nature, exposes us. It brings out our vulnerabilities, our fears, our quirks. And if someone can't handle imperfection in that moment, they're not really ready for connection. Because connection doesn't live in perfection. It lives in presence. It lives in laughter when the moment is messy. It lives in compassion when someone's nervous. It lives in patience when things don't go as planned. So what does it look like when a woman handles imperfection with grace? It's the woman who, when something awkward happens, a fumble, a pause, a clumsy kiss, doesn't get embarrassed or angry. She smiles. She breathes. She says it's okay. It means it. She holds the space gently instead of filling it with tension. She doesn't take it personally. She allows herself and her partner to be human. And that reaction, that softness, that humor, it disarms him. It builds trust. It makes him want to lean in, not retreat, because in a world that demands perfection, she's offering something far more valuable: acceptance. Handling imperfection well also signals self-confidence. It tells a man, I don't need this to be perfect to feel worthy, to feel feminine, to feel powerful. That's a woman who owns her presence. She's not performing. She's not trying to earn love or approval with flawless execution. She knows that real intimacy is about being, not impressing. And that attitude is deeply attractive, not just to his body, but to his heart. Men remember women who are real, who let themselves laugh when things go sideways, who don't panic when the script falls apart, who are flexible, open, and emotionally fluid. That doesn't mean you suppress your feelings or pretend nothing matters. It means you don't overreact. You don't let small imperfections ruin the whole experience. You carry emotional resilience. You bring steadiness to the moment. That kind of energy is rare and unforgettable. Sometimes it's not even the moment itself that reveals who you are. It's the afterward. Do you replay it in your mind and criticize yourself? Do you text him nervously, over-explaining or apologizing for nothing? Or do you let it be what it was, human, beautiful in its imperfection, and move forward with grace? A man feels that. He senses whether you're secure in yourself or constantly needing reassurance. And that security or lack of it shapes the emotional dynamic moving forward. Now let's go even deeper. When you respond to imperfection with compassion, you teach a man how to treat himself too. You show him that he's allowed to make mistakes, that he doesn't have to be the perfect lover, the perfect communicator, the perfect man. You create space for him to be real. And when a woman gives that kind of emotional freedom, it unlocks something powerful in a man. It makes him want to give more, show up more, connect more, not because he's trying to win her, but because he finally feels safe enough to let down his walls. We live in a culture obsessed with perfection, filters, edits, performances. And too often that spills into our relationships, but the deepest connections are built in the cracks, those unplanned moments that reveal who we really are. When things go wrong, they actually go right because they offer a chance to respond with authenticity, with softness, with grace. So if you want to create a memory that lasts, not just a night that fades, stop trying to control everything. Let go of the script. Let the moment be imperfect. Let yourself be imperfect. And when the unexpected happens, smile, breathe. Let it roll off you like water. Be the calm in the awkwardness. Be the softness in the silence. Be the warmth that says, you don't have to be perfect to be loved here. Because the truth is, anyone can be beautiful, anyone can be sexy, but not everyone can be safe. And a woman who knows how to meet imperfection with strength and softness, she is rare. She is unforgettable. And she is exactly the kind of woman a man won't just desire, but deeply respect.